welcome to the stream. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for the subscriptions. I appreciate that. We are here for the first Wednesday episode of Big Brother 27. I have my hair down, which means the flip is off, I think. I think that was the flip is off. No, I don't remember now. Was it flip? Was it hair up, flip on? Don't recall. BB20, Tyler. Down it was off, I think was the one. Thank you again for the subscriptions. The point of the haircut was ideally that I could go up or down, because I've had trouble down before, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it. The sides are a little off because I slept on it, but oh, you know what? Yeah, my schedule. Well, theoretically, I would stream on a Saturday, but um, I took the weekend off, other than because of the 24-hour stream. I am live on YouTube and Twitch. I apologize to the YouTubers for not being live on YouTube for the 24-hour stream. My chat's not working though on YouTube. The episode is about to start, of course. There it is. Okay. I got the chat up. Cheese, thank you for the 3rd month. I would like to play more Clock Tower. I think I mean, just, you know, there's a lot going on in the early portions of the season. I'm actually just finishing episode 3 of the Korean Genius. I'm editing, finishing the edit for that for the Patreon, so I can get that up today. I have committed to at least one of those per week, with these weeks obviously being the toughest to manage with all of the other stuff going on. I thought episode 3 was interesting. If I were watching live, I feel like episode 3 I would have been a little scared about. But knowing it's a good show and a good season, it's interesting that that episode 3 is what it is. Episode 3 of The Genius, sorry, that's for the I'm doing a reaction series on Patreon where I'm showing the episode and able to sort of pause and analyze and react as it goes. I will get the prediction up. Nathaniel, thank you for the 12th month. I did hear about Traders Canada. Very exciting. All right, episode is on. See, I am.
An evil mastermind unleashed a legend into the game.
Say hello to your new roommate.
Hello, house guest.
And he quickly revealed he had an
Hold on, you can hear this again, can't you? There we go. Could you hear that? Wait, could you hear that? Did you hear that the whole time? Were you hearing the commercials? Whoops. You couldn't hear the commercials? Oh, you know what? That's because I unmuted it when the episode came on. I had it muted. I couldn't. I was like, was I hearing the commercials? Sonic, thank you for the 61st. Prediction commercial by 5:14. Snowger, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. Saturnio, thank you for the 16th. Craig, thank you for the 42nd. Mindy with 7, thank you. There's you, thank you for the 23rd in a row. Where my Kel head's at. The book, I believe, is about $27 hardcover. I think the Kindle is cheaper if you're more into that. I am not on the episode recap tonight. Thank God. I need the night off. No, I can't sign the ebook. That would be cool, though. I could. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, I kind of lucked out because Wednesdays are normally the day I have off, and then Rob takes Sundays off. So I kind of lucked out that the Wednesdays are the 90-minute episodes because I'm already here for 90 minutes on stream. So that plus a podcast is a lot. No soft covers available for the book yet, I guess. I don't really know how it works, to be honest. I assume that they eventually come. Maybe. Or maybe they only do it if they think that it'll sell more. I honestly don't know. I didn't know that they'd even do a hardcover version. Like they had to have enough confidence in it to do a hardcover version in the first place. It's weird hearing BB Accomplice in the episode because nobody's talking about it in the game on the feeds. Yeah, softcover paperback I think there are different versions. Like there's like my arc is like this kind of paperback, but then there's also like the mass market paperback. I don't know. I don't know. Trade paperback. There you go. Favorite player this season so far? Outside of Rachel, it's got to be Mickey so far, I think. I will say I am quite enjoying Jimmy. I also am liking Ava. I really liked Ava today. I'll talk a little more about Ava on commercial. She's not winning these competitions. Of course, he's concerned. Of course, when somebody's crying in front of him, he's concerned that he looks like an idiot and says so out loud. That's the second time I've seen him do that. This with a separate person. Getting to even make the promise is a good thing. Because now there will be maybe even at least just a small part of him that doesn't want to win the veto so that he doesn't have to break another promise. And that tiny little bit, it's valuable. If he hesitates even a moment in the veto competition, that could be all you need. That is always the paradox of a player who gets targeted. What a stupid move. I'm not worth targeting. I mean, I am a big threat and like amazing, but also not worth targeting at all. Did she lie? That was her experience. The tiny hat is incredible. Physical 100 American version coming? I have a feeling it's going to be really stupid, but I'm definitely going to watch it. Oh my god, she really is just trying to be Tucker. I did watch K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh, here we go with the chess. I think the Stockwatch site is working now at the moment. Okay, I have a lot to say about that. I think that being in an almost showmance puts a much bigger target on your back than being in an actual showmance. Like, if she likes him and the thing that's holding her back is I don't want a target on my back, I think she's making the worst choice for targeting, for targets. Yeah, not even close to the commercial. I don't think I've seen them speak. No input from Catherine in that segment either. Morgan, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. That's that chess knowledge from Zay. Can I also say this angle, the wide angle of Zay on the couch with his feet dangling is very funny to me. Creator, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. Princess, thank you for the 5th month. Allie, thank you for the 16th. It's just so frustrating to me. Like, I feel like every diary room Vince has is about blaming other people for his decisions. Like, he can't even to us take ownership of the decisions that he's making. It's because Ashley took a shower even though he didn't care about the shower. And then it was because Ashley tried to talk to him when she was hearing that her name was being thrown around, and that made her paranoid. And now it's because she cried to him after he nominated her, breaking his word to her that he wouldn't. If she had just not done those things, you know, him, a good guy, wouldn't have done what he did to her. No commercial by 514. Next prediction. Oh, you know what else? We never saw Rachel yell at him. Do we see Rachel, let's call it confront Vince about noms? Yes, no. In the next segment. Addie, thank you for the 3 months in advance. I appreciate that. He claimed that Rachel yelled at him after he nominated Amy, saying that he was the worst HOH she'd ever seen, and that he was stupid, essentially. Which I imagine they would 1000% show if it actually happened the way that he described. But I'm saying confront. I'm saying any version of it. If we see any version of it that feels like it's what Vince was referring to, I will count that as yes. I will say the Zach Lauren thing. You know, I'm not one to comment. I've been wrong before, although I have been very right before. I just don't really see, and this could just be Lauren holding back. I just don't see much, like, quite frankly, in common or chemistry wise between Zach and Lauren. When he's like, she's my exact type, I'm like, what does that mean? Because most of what I'm seeing is you just admiring her from afar. All right, we're back. Hey, thank you for the 3 months in advance. The Barbarito booty. The Ava material, the Ava propaganda already coming in strong in the episodes. This is what we need. What is this with, like, top versus side matters that much? Did he have socks in his pocket? No, he's taking his shirt off. Listen, we've all done that. Oh no. It doesn't look like it did anything. Why are you like... I missed this. I knew it. Listen, let's give him some credit. At least he went for it. At least he didn't expect other people to do it for him, which is more than you can say for some people who go to the Big Brother house. Climb, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. It's getting to be too much. Like, you gotta in, please. Segment made me even more disappointed in Keanu's gameplay, considering how much Rachel clearly wants to work with with him. It's not even a bad argument. As in, I think it's kind of true. I'm really enjoying Jimmy. He's wonderfully evil. and so arrogant. I feel like you could tell me he's playing the devil in this with this look, and I'd believe you. The slicked back hair, the open shirt. Listen, I don't blame them for going in on heavy hitters, even though it's defunct now. It really did seem like it was going to last, at least that first night. This is why they often don't go in on alliances early on. It's also one of the very few that's been properly named. And like was the main thing pre-veto ceremony. You could also tell me Riley was playing the devil with his look as well. I believe it. Obviously, nowhere close did we see Rachel confront Vince about the noms. In fact, what we saw was the opposite. We saw her get into an alliance with him. I feel like what was he talking about? All right. Next prediction. Veto draw? Do we get the veto draw in the next segment? If we don't get the veto draw yet, or they skip the veto draw, this is a no. However, given that we're getting 90-minute episodes, I feel like we won't be skipping veto draws anymore. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about Ava because I think she is representing something I'm enjoying about the cast, about much of the cast so far, which is that she was brought into an alliance, the one that we talked about on the update this morning, with Zach and Vinny and Lauren and Will. Although Will isn't quite there, Adrian as well. And part of the reason they created this alliance was to protect Zay and make sure that Amy was voted out. They thought if we can pull these people into an alliance, we can get them to vote out Ava, or sorry, get them to vote out Amy and protect Zay. Ava's pulled into this alliance. She's pumped. She's like, let's go. I'm in an alliance. I like all of you people. She's very pleased about this. And then the Sly Dogs start to move the conversation to the vote. So, should we maybe vote out Amy? And a lot of players in this position would capitulate. New alliance, they all want me to do a thing in order to fit in. I'm going to say whatever you want, guys. Ava stands her ground. She says, nah. Nah, I want Kelly out. She sucks. And Vince is trying, well, what about this? And well, what if I don't think Kelly's after you? She's like, I don't really care. Kelly's a wild card. I don't trust her. I think we'd look so stupid. And Vince, you would know about that. You're afraid of that. We'd look so stupid to not vote out Kelly against Amy. And she holds her ground. And when she talks to Lauren about it, she holds her ground. And when she talks to Adrian about it, she holds her ground. And that is a very good quality to have in the Big Brother house. And I think that there are a few people in this game that have it. And I didn't expect Ava to be one of them, but she seems to be. Episode is back. Bippin' and boppin'. Well, this was another part of the day today, was her talking about how much she hates Keanu. So this is fair content. It's the shower all over again. I'm just waiting for Keanu to walk into the room while she talks to Will. I will say the way they're introducing this, I feel like if you're an episode only person, you might be like, "Hey, that's not nice. He's just being nice. He's Keanu. I just saw a nice segment about him." But I imagine we're going to get more soon. Feels like a bro. I will say, I am also really liking what Zach's doing. Similar stuff, holding his ground, trying to protect Zay. I don't like his reasoning for wanting to take out Amy, the core reasoning, but the additional reasoning of weakening Rachel and keeping in both Kelly and Zay, who like him and are allies with him, of his. Solid reasoning, and he keeps pushing, which I think is what he needs to be doing. Do you see how they make this stuff? Nobody talked about this in the house. It was not a thing. Blue, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the road lottery. That was very funny, though. This I don't mind. This was a funny exaggeration. Why does Riley not have a shirt on? It's a ceremony, bro. He's also like on the couch. Still a tornado warning or weather warning? We're picking players right now. Rachel is just chosen by Amy. Vince just drew Zach. Wow, fortuitous draws there. Zach is very handsome. Is there a more handsome man that has played in recent years? I guess it's all relative. Yeah, a bunch of people. I guess what I mean is that he's like classically handsome. You know what I mean? Like he's got perfect teeth. He's got a perfectly symmetrical face. Now I'm talking about it too much. Okay. We did, in fact, get the veto draw. Next question, do we get the veto comp? Does the veto comp start in the next segment? When I say does the veto competition start, what I mean is, do they start playing the veto? They can't go out into the backyard and then cut to commercial before they start playing. They need to start playing the veto. That is the prediction. Error creating prediction. Please try again. What? Here we go. I did see Ava call Zach Matt today in the storage room. For a moment, I was like, is there a Matt on the cast? Don't know. I think the 22nd. And I think that was the second time she did it. I don't think I caught the first, but I think when she did it, she referenced that it was the second time she did it. Kitty, thank you for the 3 months in advance. Zat or Mac? Anyway, talking about players that like aren't backing down, that's what I'm really liking about Mickey as well. She is pushing hard. I do still like it about Morgan. Um the only issue I have with Morgan, and I did mention this on the roundtable, is that Morgan, so like first night of feeds, we did the 24-hour stream. I was saying I like what Morgan is doing, because she is pushing back against this idea of letting the alliance like walk all over her and deciding what the who's going to be evicted. And what I was saying was like the fact that she's not backing down will let her know if this is a good alliance for her or if she needs to bounce and move somewhere else. We're back. We're back. I wonder if he actually throws it. It'd be kind of interesting because like we saw her get Vince to promise he'd use it on her, which obviously would like incentivize him to potentially not win it, and then now trying to talk Zach into also throwing it. I do think Zach should throw this, for the record. I think that's the right move for him. She made a very good argument. I think her argument is correct. He shouldn't want to win this. Can I test something? Can you hear this? I think you can. It's the chair of my arm, and sometimes I accidentally push it forward. And it's so loud. The chair of my arm. Did I say the chair of my arm? Oh man, I have not caught up on sleep yet, for the record. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. Old guy, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate that.
Wow, a 5!
Why so early? Well, I need to be up early to prep for the update. Not always that early. But if I wake up and it's 5, it's like, oof, I'm gonna have to start prepping anyway, and then my brain is racing, and I also went to the dentist today. Got a little teeth cleaning. No cavities. S. Buchanan, thank you for the 6 month. Every time I go to the dentist, I think about what if Johnny Mac was my dentist? This is just not it for comps. The comp itself is good. The way they edit it just doesn't work for me. It's like Big Brother thinks that because this competition is so like puzzly, that the only way to follow it is through like a scripted narration of each player's experience. And it's just like you took the masked man from the Devil's Plan. Could you take the way they edit their stuff? Like their competitions are way more complicated. And they managed to show them without having one person go, so I walked into the main match area. And I saw that there was a poker table. When I got 7-2 offsuit, I thought this is a bad hand. I looked up and saw 7 high and he seemed happy. That told me that he might have a good hand. I went off on the Devil's Plan poker game reaction. I was like, I'm in my element. I recommend the Devil's Plan Heavy. Okay, how annoyed is Rob on the podcast tonight about the sniffing? I'm almost upset that I won't be on the podcast just because I could play the sniffing at him a lot and that would be funny. They're all so bad at this. I'm surprised Rachel isn't doing better. This is kind of like the comp I'd expect her to be able to be good at. I said almost upset I'm not on the podcast. I'm definitely not actually upset I'm not on the All right, they did in fact start the veto competition. And it is I mean I think you can tell too that they're just dragging this out. It's just being dragged out. We're getting a commercial in the middle of this. Like, have we even seen Ashley make an attempt yet? Right. It's just like anyway. What should the prediction be? How about does anyone say they threw the comp? Does anyone say in the next segment, does anyone say they threw the competition? I will accept somebody who says, like, did I try my hardest? No. I will also accept whether they say it in the diary room or to another person. So, for instance, if Ashley asks Zach, did you throw it? And he says yes, even if he's lying, I will accept the answer. If they say, I didn't want to win, I don't think is enough. Because I didn't want to win is not necessarily an implication that they didn't actually try to win. It could just be them saying, like, you know, I tried to win, but if you think about it, I'm glad I didn't. I didn't try my best is arguably throwing. For the purposes of this prediction, I'm counting it as throwing. But there is obviously a distinction between like full on throwing and not trying your hardest. We'll definitely have a prediction. I think we're going to see Jimmy's speech, considering that they've been teasing it. Will feeds be lively tonight? I think it's going to be more of the same. I think it's going to be a lot of jockeying for position with this vote. And it's a push and pull situation here. It's a tug of war going on. It gets pulled one way and then it gets pulled back another way. And there are a lot of little votes in the middle that like keep kind of getting pulled in both directions. A lot of it is down to honestly to Ava and Will to some degree, but Ava is one of the key votes that is adamantly saying no. Adrian is a key vote that's saying yes to keeping Zay and evicting Amy. And he fought Ava hard in the storage room, but she didn't back down. Lauren is wishy-washy. We're back. But like if say Ava backed down, that could start a pylon. If she holds strong, it could start a pylon in the other direction. Melissa. Do you think she's hiding 2 extra A's at the end of her name? What's more Vince than intimating the idea of chucking his card but not actually doing it? Tom Scott versus Trash Can Energy. He actually, what, he kicked it? I forget what he did. You guys see the jet lag promo? All Stars tag. I'm pumped. What? Your 4th person? No HOH in the history of the game has ever had to do that. Nope. People know, people show, both of those reasons are wrong. Everyone is more convinced that she's close to him now than ever because they know she volunteered for this for him. And two, he very clearly does not care how loyal she is to him. He sees her as expendable. Yep. There's a period at the end of that sentence, Vince. Golden. No, nobody said they threw the comp. Okay, prediction is, do we see Keanu versus Jimmy? And what I mean is that there was an argument that they supposedly had that happened before the feed started. I'm not talking about Huggate. I'm talking about the thing that started them spinning to be targeting each other. Do we see that? That is the prediction. I don't even know exactly what it is, but we will know it if we see it. Because it will be Jimmy and Keanu in some kind of argument together. Like the thing for me is with Vince, obviously I've talked about this plenty. He's talking like, man, the thing about the HOH is that you put people up and it makes them angry. And I don't want people to be angry. I want to avoid having people that will be angry at me, and I want to, like, try to guarantee the outcome. And this is a high risk, high reward play. He's talking as though this wasn't the exact first thought that anybody had the second the game was introduced in 2001. Mike Boogie, the first HOH, was like, if I put two people up, then one of them will be mad when they come down. So what if I put an ally on the block? An ally that nobody would ever vote out. It's just like, really, like 25 years, 24 years later, we're still doing this? We still haven't learned? All right, we're back. Predictions right there, right? See it? Yeah. Why would I nominate somebody not coming for me? That's so stupid. What a dumb move. I'm nominating Kelly, obviously. Rachel put in so much work for Keanu this week. Has accurately warned him about the bros he thinks are his friends. And he still doesn't get it. I think this is also, by the way, why Jimmy is starting to move away from Vince. If somebody tells you you're an option to go up, you don't have a reason to not believe them. Vince adamantly refusing to do the better thing for his game and being like, I'm running my own HOH. I get to nominate my closer ally. That's a no. There was no argument there. What I was looking for was like like I said, like they said that there was some kind of actual like confrontation argument between the two of them before the feeds came on, and we did not see it, unfortunately. But let's do we get Huggate in the next set? Now I'm looking for Huggate. We know exactly what this is. Riley pitching to evict Zay to Vince right now? Like for real, for real? Like the Alliance? What's the reasoning? I mean, he was I thought he was talking to somebody and I was like, oh, he's just placating them. Ash and Amy, yeah. I didn't think they'd actually make progress.
I said, and because I got pissed, bro, straight up. And he was like, no. He was like, but you want to be? And I was like, no. I said, that's not it. I said, I'm observant. I said, but you're throwing
think
my
she's
stock
talking
name out
about
there and you're putting my game in jeopardy.
Keanu
my
right
life
now.
in this game in jeopardy because people don't know how to believe.
I don't think he's talking about Zay, but I believe what you guys said. Sorry, now I'm watching feeds. Okay, I missed the meat of this, so I can't confirm because I did not hear where Riley was leaning. But if Riley is, he's anti-Zay, but is he pro Amy? Is he anti Kelly as well? If Riley's been locked in as pro Amy, it's over. Pack it up. All right, we're back. Okay, this is the argument I was looking for before, I bet. Yeah, this is what I was asking about last segment. The mafia music. I'm looking at the BB Daily update. Is this a real quote? Sorry, there's two funny things happening at once. Here's what we saw night one of feeds. Yeah. That Riley said we can stroke Amy's ass in a competition any day. I don't think that's the word you were looking for, man. It could be a typo from BB Daily, or it could be what Riley said. I don't know. Could be a typo from Riley's mouth. Yeah, BB Daily doesn't get things wrong very often, so I would certainly be inclined to believe it. Yeah, from what we saw, this is not super accurate. Vinny was way more way closer to putting up Keanu than he was to putting up Jimmy. Did we just skip Huggate? No, it's got to be coming. I still believe. I still believe. They can still show it. Because they didn't show that Jimmy learned about Keanu the night before, so they're going to show Ava ratting him out to Jimmy first and then show Huggate. That's my prediction. Yep. Come on. Here we go. Wait, I think this is the night before. Vince is so focused on trying to convince us that he's not making a mistake. He's doing everything he can to present a narrative that this is not a stupid move because he knows it's a stupid move. We know how like TV focused he is. Now that I think about it, it's actually a good idea to put up Kelly because of all of this stuff that I'm doing. No to Huggate, which is kind of wild. Kind of wild. Okay. Do we end on a cliffhanger? Should I ask that? I think that's the way. Because there is a good chance that they do show Jimmy's speech, but then cliffhanger any additional fallout. Although, nah, that doesn't count. If the ceremony ends, it doesn't count as a cliffhanger. It would have to be still part of the. This gets too complicated. I'm going to change it. We'll go final DR. We'll go classic. Jimmy, Keanu, Vince, Kelly, Rachel, Amy, Zay, other. So what I'm gathering from this Vince Riley conversation is that because basically what happened earlier is Jimmy told Vince that the numbers are not there, or that the numbers are there to evict Zay. Oh, sorry, you're right. The thing is behind there. Jimmy, like, with Catherine in the room, was telling Vince, like, I'm with it, Catherine's with it, Ava's with it, we're all voting out Zay, we're all keeping Amy in every scenario. And Vince did his Vince thing, which was like, well, that's what I want. And so I think when he was talking to Riley, he was like, so I think I want Amy to stay. We're back. And then I think Riley was like, yeah, I'm down. We can stroke her ass in any competition. What is the clapping? Since when do you clap when somebody uses the veto on themselves? Oh, they're playing the music and everything to be interrupted. Nice. He didn't say designer. Ooh. Oh, Keanu kind of cooked there. I feel like Keanu came off really well in this episode. He's just talking about a completely separate tangential situation and acting like that justifies nominating his closest ally as the first HOH. This guy should be a politician. Let me tell you. Vince was the final DR. All right. What they didn't show is that whole situation that Vince apparently orchestrated has only led to Vince getting in more trouble because he's been caught like thinking about putting Keanu up on the block. It led to the complete dismantlement of multiple alliances that he was in. It's caused Jimmy to drift away from him. It's caused him to lose complete control of the vote this week to the point that neither of his first two options are currently the front runners to stay. Oh boy. All right. Anyway. Hey, it's Ross Matthews. I feel like I remember Hollywood Squares coming on after Big Brother like 20 years ago. I feel like that might be true. I feel like that might have happened. Ava holding strong against Adrian part 2. I think she's going to continue to hold strong cuz like the thing too is that we learned I think that Ava is actually not like the biggest Adrian fan. She does like him, does want to work with him, but the way she talked about him to Vince was a little bit like, I'm a little skeptical of Adrian. So given that, I think that that just gives her less incentive to back down from his argument. And his argument is a bad one anyway. I think his whole plan of like bringing shields further in the game that are like going to win comps, like that whole like I'm going to take out the comp beast at final 6 or whatever, or final 7. I think that's a bad strategy, and I think that he needs to be talked out of it. Um, the real thing is where Will falls, because Will just earlier today was talking with the Burger Bros and reassuring them that he would keep Zay. And at the same time, when talking with Ava and Adrian, who I believe he's much more truthful with, was saying that he sided with Ava about keeping Amy. But if Will falls in the same way that Ava falls, if Ava fell, like, the House of Cards could come tumbling down. But the fact that Vince has already kind of been swayed and that now Riley is on board to some degree, like, I think that it feels like for the first time there's a decent amount of momentum heading in a certain direction, and that direction is save Amy. Would Adrian flip his vote? The thing about Adrian's vote is that he has already told Amy he's not voting for her in any scenario. So there's not a lot of incentive for him to change his vote at this point. Because even if he does change it, like, everyone will know that it was because the votes weren't there. What he could do is act like he's been convinced by Amy. Or he could, just cast his vote and pull a Dan and say, I did that because that's what I had promised, and I'm sticking to it, which is, I think, the tactic he's currently planning to use, because that is what he's saying at the moment. The problem with trying to use Dan's strategies is that people have seen Dan's game. And also, if you try to use Dan's strategies, many people find out that they're not Dan Giesling, and it doesn't work for them. Which is something I talk about in my book, Behind the Mirror. Genuinely, that's I make that point. The point that Dan's strategies are not repeatable in the same way that the modern day meta strategies are. I'm hoping the book transitions are fun as opposed to just like generic plugs at the end. Because honestly, like, I've spent the last like 2.5 years talking about Big Brother and occasionally being like, oh, I make this point in my book that's really cool that I want to talk about. And then having to be like, oh, I can't talk about my book. So now I'm really just like, I'm getting it all out there. And it also is hopefully like a fun, brief way to plug the book that's not like just a generic, boring plug. What alliances or relationships do I see lasting? I think the people who actually like each other, like Will Ava, Will Mickey, those are some solid seeming relationships. Mickey Morgan seem pretty solid. You know, the Rachel, Amy, Ashley connection is actually shakier than you'd think. But they should be locked in enough. Stuff like that. I would love to, like, if I guess I could is there a world where I could build a shelf that could sit the book? That would be pretty intrusive. It's also, it would be so big in the frame. It'd be even bigger. Like, it would have to be the graphic size. which would be way back there. I don't know. I've tried. I don't think it's possible. I just told it the whole time. Chicago Citations has your attention. In my opinion, who is going home tomorrow? I think Kelly is the most likely person to be voted out. I think Zay is the second most likely person to be voted out. But that does not mean that Amy is safe. By any means. The vote could still fall onto Amy for sure. I think Zay is more likely to win the comp. And I also think that Kelly has less support than Zay does in a vote. So it's a little bit twofold. Also, Kelly keeps saying she's going to throw the comp. We know that she planned to do this. I don't think she actually will. But even just talking about it, having it in your head, like I don't know. Again, like there's a chance that it just causes you to not fully invest yourself. Anyway, podcast will be starting soon. Make sure you go and head over there and watch and or listen to the podcast. I am not on it tonight, taking the night off. Taking the night off to finish my edit of episode 3 of The Genius from Korea for my Patreon. If you want to watch that or watch any of the Devil's Plan reactions that I did over there on Patreon. The plan is to do at least one of these reactions. I don't even know if reaction is the best term for it. It's more like I'm watching, showing you, and analyzing and reacting. And one of those per week, at least during the season. And then also potentially do some other fun stuff over there. Certainly when we get shows like Australian Survivor or Australian versus whatever it is, the new Australian Survivor season. I also did a podcast with Shannon, by the way, on Suri, with her. She's doing a series of for introducing people to all of the players from Australia versus the world. The first one was Suri, which she did with me. If you want to check that out. We recorded it before I released the book, and I wasn't sure if it would be released pre or post book. And so I was like, when is this being released? Can I talk? Well, I have a thing. But anyway, when that comes out, I will certainly be doing reactions on the Patreon there. And then also Amazing Race, Big Brother, The Traders, and then we'll also continue all the Genius stuff and some other fun Korean shows like that. So that's what I'm doing over there on the Patreon. Anyway, audiobook for the book. Still don't have anything for you at the moment. But if you do want one, hopefully stay tuned. I wouldn't like hold out for it necessarily, but I certainly would like to do one. Amazing Race Canada. I have not started watching. Oh, you know what else we'll do is Traders Canada. We'll definitely do that on the Patreon with Kevin playing. It's Kevin and Omer, and one other person, right? Venus. But I mean, Kevin and Omer alone. Can guys? Kevin Jacobs and Omer together on a season of The Traders. with Venus there. But like Kevin and Omer, they are two of the most chaotic, strategic people. Love it. The benefits of that stuff being on Patreon is that I will like actually have the episode on so that I can pause it and react and stuff. Which I think will be much more fun for me and hopefully much better content for people watching. Because in the past I've had trouble with stuff that's not live. Because then it's like everyone has to sync up the video, and then if I pause, then they have to pause, and it just gets so tricky. But yes, fun stuff. Check out the Patreon, check out the book, go to the podcasts, all the good stuff. I'll be live in the morning for the update. I'll be live tomorrow night here again to watch the eviction. Which the evictions are more fun when we have an arena to compete in. So, all right, thanks again, and I will see all of you tomorrow.